You're wanting to move to Lubbock, but you want to be in Cooper ISD schools. I get a lot of people reach out saying they want to move to Lubbock because of our schools and the schooling system here in Lubbock. So I wanted to dedicate a video to all of the people looking to be in the Cooper ISD neighborhood or a Cooper ISD district and live in the Cooper ISD neighborhood. And I wanted to talk around some of the newer or newest neighborhoods between around 500,000 and around 700,000. That way, if you are looking to be in a new construction or if you're wanting to build a house or to be in a newer neighborhood, but you may not want to build a house, then this video is for you. And stick around until the end so that you can hear my #1 neighborhood out of all the neighborhoods that are in Cooper ISD. And we're going to get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Lubbock, Texas, well then be sure to tap that bell and hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to know about all things happening in Lubbock, Texas. I get calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you looking to make their move to Lubbock, Texas, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days, 90 days, or even 9 months, I'd love the opportunity to meet with you and discuss how we can make you and your family have a smooth transition into the Lubbock area. So as I mentioned, we are going to talk about some of the newest neighborhoods in Lubbock Cooper ISD. However, I will note that I will not be talking about the neighborhoods that are on the outskirts or on acreage today. Really, today's video, I'm going to be focusing on the newer neighborhoods that are going to be within the city limits, in a neighborhood within a quarter of an acre to about, just a regular lot size where, your neighbor to the right and to the left of you, so I will do another video that will talk about the neighborhoods if you're looking to be on land in a newer neighborhood. But right now I wanted to focus on really honing in on some of those neighborhoods that are in the city, close to amenities, close to parks, and that way you can get an idea of what neighborhoods to check out when you come and visit Lubbock. So let's get started. So the first neighborhood I'm going to talk about today is Stonewood Estates. Stonewood Estates is a newer neighborhood. It started construction around 2018, and there is some new construction as of today. So if you are wanting to build a house in Stonewood Estates, you can also do that. The Stonewood Estates is located off of 114 in Frankfort. It's on the southeast corner of Frankfort and 119. And I say that because I'm going to talk about a neighborhood that sits diagonal from it here in a second. So just wanted to really focus on Stonewood, and Stonewood Estates really is a neighborhood that sits all by itself. The amenities in this neighborhood are, we're not going to see a neighborhood pool, we're not going to see a bunch of neighborhood parks and walking trails or anything like that, but I did want to talk about the neighborhood in itself. The neighborhood, that the people that live in this neighborhood are a tight-knit community. They have a Facebook group dedicated to Stonewood Estates. So if you're needing sugar, you need eggs, or you need help with packages when you're out of town, the neighborhood Facebook page is definitely something that they take. It's a very close-knit community, especially if there's a sketchy person walking around or somebody lost their dog, which I'm sure you might have something like that similar to where you live now, and you're wanting the same. So you can rest assured that this neighborhood does and will have that. So that's really the amenities. You can walk, of course, through the neighborhood. It's quiet, have a stroll, ride the bike, but you're not gonna have that actual park or pool if you're looking for that. The average home, like I mentioned, it was built in 2018. And the average lot size is gonna be generally around 6,700 square feet per lot size, which is about, 0.15 or 0.14 to 0.16 acre of a lot. So that's going to be what to expect. They're not going to be too big lots, but you're going to have a little bit of a backyard if you're wanting to maybe add not necessarily a pool, but maybe a trampoline and a playground set. The median sales price of this neighborhood is actually going to be on the lower end of the neighborhood that I'm going to be talking about today. So I wanted to start here, and they're going to be around $400,000. So you can find a really nice home, 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, for an affordable price. So if you're wanting to either build a house or live in a newer construction home, that is going to be what to expect in this neighborhood price-wise. Why people love this neighborhood? People love this neighborhood because, like I mentioned, it's situated off of 114 in Frankfort. So 114 is not as busy, but kind of busy, as, let's say, 1585 or 133rd Street. But Frankfort is not as busy as, say, a Milwaukee or a Quaker. Frankfort's not developing as rapidly as Quaker or Milwaukee, and it sits right in the middle between Quaker and Milwaukee, right? So it's very quiet, it's very secluded, you're tucked back off of 114. And honestly, there's not any surrounding neighborhoods that you're, mixing and mingling in. It's just Stonewood Estates, so it's very quiet. It's just kind of tucked back in there. There's not too many trees. I think that, of course, there's some newer trees and stuff, but there's not a ton of, mature trees and mature landscaping. The homes in this neighborhood are just going to be your basic brick exterior, some stone mixed here and there. They're going to be around, say, 17 to 2,300 square feet, not terribly big, not terribly small, just kind of your average basic 3-bedroom, 2-bath or 4-bedroom, 2-bath home here in Lubbock. It is close to, like I said, on Frankfort, let's see, so there is a new United that's being built, or that was built right next to Stonewood Estates, and it has an E.B. Mays barbecue inside of the Market Street. So if you ever want some barbecue, it's a really good place to go to if you're not wanting to go stay in the lines at E.B. Mays. And then down Frankfort, you're gonna have a handful of churches, you'll have some nail salons. It's not terribly busy, but as you go down to 82nd Street is where you'll have a ton of restaurants, new coffee shops, new bakeries, new shopping. There's a ton on 82nd, so it is a few miles to 82nd. So that's why I say you're kind of secluded, because Frankfort, where it's at 114, is just not very developed or not very busy. And it won't be, because there's houses and there's commercial, as far as churches and that sort of thing right over there. So it's not like it's vacant land. It is developed, but it's not your commercial restaurants, boutiques, that sort of thing. Next, I'm going to talk about Vintage Township. So I've talked about Vintage Township before, and it is such a cute neighborhood. It is one of the cutest neighborhoods in Lubbock, because you truly feel like you're in a storybook. And I wanted to talk about Vintage because of the amenities and the fact that you can find a newer construction home or build a home if you want to. So Vintage Township, you're gonna have homes that are ranging from the early 2000s to today. And it sits between Quaker and 114. So just a few miles east of Stonewood is Vintage. And Vintage is going to have the mature trees. It's going to be the storybook house if you're looking for something like that. Now let's talk about the amenities. The amenities in this neighborhood are unmatched if you're looking to be in Southwest Lubbock or South Lubbock in Cooper ISD. There's really not a neighborhood like it because of the amenities. You're going to have a pool, which is pretty awesome. And it's a beautiful pool. It's not just like a basic pool thrown in the ground. It has beautiful trees next to a clubhouse. You'll have a town hall that you can rent out as well, basketball courts, multiple different parks in different areas of the neighborhood. If you're wanting to walk your dog, there are kids riding their bikes all over Vintage. Literally anytime you go there, there's gonna be kids riding their bike to each other's houses. It's the cutest thing. And let's see, the other amenities, there's a town hall, there's a big bell, super cute. There's some businesses that rent out some spaces out town hall. So it's truly a cute little neighborhood, and the amenities is why people love it. People are loving this neighborhood because of how close their neighbors are. These lots are going to be tight for the most part. You're going to be able to find 2-story homes here. Most of them are going to be 2-story or small 1-story homes, really close knit lots, really close streets. Also too, you have Vintage Estates. Those are going to be bigger properties, bigger lot sizes. And so it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you're wanting, the wraparound porch, really close to your neighbor, Vintage Township, and then you also have Vintage Estates, which is going to be just your bigger homes. Prices in this neighborhood are going to range from around the low 400s to honestly over $1 million. However, the median price point is around the 500 to 550 price point. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. And that does take into consideration, some Vintage Township or some vintage estate homes as well. So if you're looking in the whole overall vintage, you can find homes in Vintage Estates and Vintage Township. Vintage is super close to everything on Quaker. I mean, you're right behind HEB. And so literally 5-second walk to HEB. Not really, but you can get to HEB in less than 3 minutes. And then everything on Quaker. I mean, you have neighborhood F&B is right next to you. You have Baristas, which is right across the street from you. The Falls Athletic and Tennis Club, you want to be a part of a gym, is right across the street as well. That also has a pool and recreation center. It's an awesome little recreation center and pool area, splash pad. It's awesome. I'll talk about that in just a second as well. And then let's see, you'll have the Reserve, which is a restaurant. You'll have tons of cute little boutiques. You'll have nail salons. You'll have workouts. You'll have Pilates. So Quaker, right where this is located, is literally centrally the hub of Quaker. I mean, you're going to be close to so many things off of Quaker. There's even a Chick-fil-A, fast food, an academy, ice cream, like anything you can probably think of, probably going to be there. So it is really close and convenient. That's another reason why people love this neighborhood. Yes, it's convenient to everything, but it also just has that close-knit community and family feel that is truly like no other neighborhood in Lubbock. You'll have golf carts. People ride their golf carts. It's an adorable little neighborhood. What's also close to it, the surrounding area, is going to be the Vintage Estates and then also Oakmont Estates. Those homes are also going to be ranging up to $1 million. So, I mean, the neighborhood that is surrounding Vintage is awesome. You're gonna have beautiful homes. You're walking through the neighborhood, you should feel very safe. There's a lot of people, like I mentioned, that are walking around. So, especially after school, I mean, that's another reason why people love it. And the surrounding area is truly awesome. The next neighborhood I'm going to talk about is Fountain Hills. Fountain Hills is also another amazing neighborhood here in Lubbock. And I keep saying that because truly, that's why I wanted to do this video, so that we can take you around to these neighborhoods and you can get an experience that maybe you wouldn't have thought about this neighborhood if you were doing it on your own. But anyway, Fountain Hills is the neighborhood that's directly diagonal from Stonewood Estates. So it sits at 114 in Frankfort, but it's more so on the northwest side of the intersection of Frankfort and 114. It's right here in this corner. And it is also a neighborhood that was built in the early 2000s, but majority of the homes were built in the last 5-ish years to today. So you can also build a home to today. There are new construction homes, spec homes that you can also purchase in this neighborhood if you're looking to do so. The lot sizes in this neighborhood, it's going to be a little bit different than where we've been. You can find homes on 1/4 of an acre to 1/2 an acre in Fountain Hills Estates. So like Vintage, we also have Fountain Hills Estates and Fountain Hills. And when I talk about these numbers, it's gonna encompass Fountain Hills and Fountain Hills Estates. It's this general vicinity, but I also wanted to talk about Fountain Hills Estates because you can find homes that are gonna be around 500 to 700,000, but also over $1 million. And then most homes are gonna be around the 500 to 400,000 up to $1 million, similar to Vintage. It just kind of depends on which area of the neighborhood you're really looking at and which part you want to be in. The median sales price of Fountain Hills is around $700,000, and that is due to partly because of Fountain Hills Estates. There are some beautiful, gorgeous homes that are ranging over $1 million in Fountain Hills Estates, but you can also find a home around the $700,000 price point. $600 to $700 is the sweet spot in that neighborhood. So if you are looking to be in that $600,000 to $700,000 and you're wanting to be off of Frankfort 114, like I mentioned, it is a quiet neighborhood. This is definitely one we want to check out. So the amenities, there's not a park or anything like Vintage, or there's not a pool or anything like Vintage. However, it is super close to the Falls Athletic Club that I had just talked about. So the Falls Athletic Club is not very far from there, and you can have a membership at the Falls, which has a splash pad. It has, tons of activities for the kids and for you. There's like a daycare if you want to drop off the kids. There's classes if you like classes more so with gym. So it's definitely, you're wanting to be a part of a club or an athletic center. The Falls Athletic Center is close to some of these neighborhoods that I'm talking about today. And that would be an amenity that I would say that this neighborhood has. I'm not necessarily, right down the street from you or right down the block from you, but it is, just a quick 5-minute drive. The reason why people love this neighborhood is honestly due to how secluded it feels whenever you're driving around in this neighborhood. And also too, just how beautiful the homes are in this neighborhood. You truly feel, I mean, when you drive around, it's so quiet. You almost don't feel like you're in Lubbock, honestly. You have these beautiful homes, some of them on half acres, like I mentioned, some of them on a quarter, some of them on a little bit less, but you're driving around, it's very quiet, very secluded. It's not gated or anything, but it is one of those neighborhoods that you just feel like you can't hear everything that's going on. You're not going to be able to hear the hustle and bustle of the city, but you're also right in the hustle and bustle of the city. So that is why people love it. And also too, you walk around and you feel safe. You're feeling safe. The kids can ride their bikes and they can ride to each other's houses. And so you have that community and family feel of this neighborhood. What it's close to, I had mentioned, everything that Stonewood Estates is close to. So it's close to everything that Stonewood Estates is close to off of Frankfurt and in 114. And then the surrounding area, like I mentioned, it has Fountain Hills and Fountain Hills Estates. So the surrounding area of this neighborhood, you're gonna be surrounded by beautiful homes. And then also too, you're not too far from Lakewood Estates and Lakewood. So, some of those neighborhoods are a little bit older, but you're gonna have the mature trees, so you're gonna have tons of families in and around this neighborhood with kiddos, ranging obviously from newborns to high school age. So you'll have a mix of families and kids' ages. And so if you're looking for that family feel, this neighborhood is one to look into, and especially if you're wanting to be in the city, but also feel like you're not in the city. The final neighborhood I'm going to talk about today is one of my favorites just because of location, the overall feel of the neighborhood, the houses, the builders, really everything that encompasses this neighborhood, and that is Kelsey Park. So in Kelsey Park, there are a few different subsections within Kelsey Park. You have Kelsey Park. Kelsey Park is in 4 different phases, just the Kelsey Park itself. Then you have the Enclave, then you have the COVID Enclave, and then you have Kelsey Park Estates, and then or the estates at Kelsey Park, and then you have the Eastwick subdivisions. And so there's a lot going on in Kelsey, depending on what you're looking for. Kelsey Park, the 4 different phases of the first 4 phases of Kelsey Park, those are going to be your older homes, older as in 2014. That's when this neighborhood started, around 2014, and so that's going to be the first part of Kelsey Park. The latter half of Kelsey Park is built to today. There are tons of new construction going on in Kelsey Park. On the Enclave, I should say more specifically, the Enclave and the estates at Kelsey Park, and then also too in the Eastwick subdivision of Kelsey Park. So tons of going on in those 3 subsections of the Kelsey Park area. Enclave and Eastwick are the top 2 right now that is happening. It's got it going on right there. So, but anyway, so like I've said, 2014 to today is gonna be the age of this home. The amenities of Kelsey Park. There is an 80+ acre park that it sits in the middle of Kelsey Park. Of course there has to be a park, right? The name is Kelsey Park. So of course they added the park. It has some water features, but the walking trail is pretty awesome. It's a huge walking trail. And some of the walking trail sits behind some of the newer houses, which is pretty cool, especially if you're just wanting to just hop out in your backyard and then get out your alley and go for a walk. You can do that. You don't have to drive, honestly. And so a lot of people like that. The kids are also always riding their bikes around the neighborhood. There are tons of kids that have friends in the neighborhood because they all go to Cooper, so it's after school, around the 4 and 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, dinner time, that's when it is hustle and bustling in the Kelsey Park area, and tons of things going on, on the weekends as well. So the amenities is just, it's more so the overall feel and the park itself that a lot of people are loving. And the reason why they love it is because it does feel like you are part of a community, you are part of a family feel. So that is why, people are drawn more to Kelsey Park, and also too because of the location. It sits off of, I guess I forgot to mention that, but it's off of 1585, which is 130th Street and 140th Street between Indiana and Quaker. So it's in this little subsection right here. You're smack dab in the middle of everything on Indiana and everything on Quaker that I mentioned. Okay, so let's talk about the median home price and the median sales price in this neighborhood. So of course, this neighborhood is going to have a wide range of homes ranging from around the mid 300s to over 2 million. And so If you're looking for a newer home, most of the newer homes are going to be priced around the $500,000 to $700,000. And these are going to be your gorgeous, beautiful, new construction homes built by some of the best builders in Lubbock. You can even find two-story homes in this neighborhood. You can find single-family homes. You can find homes with rear entry, or all of the homes are going to have rear entry garages. They're going to be a mix of stone, brick, some garages, some huge shops. You can build a shop there. So really, if you're wanting the space, it is there, especially homes that are going to be over 3,000 square feet. You know, I mean, 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, 4 baths. I mean, you name it, you could probably find it in the Kelsey Park. What it is close to, so like I mentioned, it is close to Indiana, or it is off of Indiana and Quaker. Quaker, it has so much going on, like I mentioned earlier. And Indiana, I mean, it almost has the same stuff. You know, you have the Hot Works off of Indiana and in 1585. You have a Market Street, you're United right there. You have nail salons, you have Harrigan's, you have Amici's, you have the Range, which all 3 of those are just, you know, the Range is a fun family environment where you can take your friends and your family, kids, get a bucket of balls and some beer and hit some balls or go out and hang out. The Amici's is a fun family wine bar, and Harrigan's is a steak restaurant, grill restaurant. Let's see, there is some boutique shopping off of Indiana, you know, so I mean, there's a lot going on Indiana too, so a lot going on Quaker. So you're just right in the middle of everything, and that's another reason why people love it, is because of how close it is. Not to mention how close it is to kids' soccer practice, gymnastics practice, football games, whatever, you name it, it's not very far. And it's also not very far from Lubbock Cooper High School. It is probably the closest to Lubbock Cooper High School that I've talked about in any of the neighborhoods that I've talked about today. So if you're wanting to be super close to Lubbock Cooper High School, then in the new high school, then that's going to be where you'll want to be, is in the East Wicker Enclave subdivision or subsection of Kelsey Park. The surrounding areas, as far as, you know, what other neighborhoods are around Kelsey Park is in and itself. I mean, it's 800 single family lots in the Kelsey Park area. It's huge. And so it's just Kelsey Park. There's not another neighborhood feeding into it, or you're driving around and you might be in one neighborhood and then 2 seconds later you're in another. It's all going to be Kelsey Park. The only difference is you're going to be into the different sections, Enclave, Eastwick, Estates, you know, that kind of thing. But whenever you drive through, you'll really get a feel for, you know, what the neighborhood looks like, what the houses look like, and I'm going to take you on a drive through Kelsey. So those are my top 4 neighborhoods of newer neighborhoods ranging from around the $500,000 to $700,000 price point in the city of Lubbock in Cooper ISD. Of course, there are plenty of other neighborhoods that feed into Cooper ISD, but I really wanted to talk about the newer or the newish construction because that's honestly what a lot of people are really liking right now. And if you want to customize a home and you're moving from a different state and you want to put your own touch on it, or you want to build a pool, whatever you want to do, you can do that in all of these areas. It just depends on what lot size you want and what amenities you are looking for in your neighborhood. So if you have any questions about the neighborhoods that I talked about today, definitely let me know. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And as always, if you found this video helpful, be sure to like and comment and subscribe so that you can be the first to know about all things happening in Lubbock, Texas. And until next time, see you around.